That means you're doing something.
Well, you guys are super lucky because instead of doing math right now, you're going to do a little bit of reading. All right? Right on. The reason you're here is to help me learn some stuff. I love learning. These wonderful people behind you, your teachers and principals and instructional coaches and stuff, they love learning. So you're going to help us learn today, okay? All right. I chose a book for you guys today. Sorry you didn't get to pick. I hope you like it. And let me tell you a little bit about it first. This is called Max and Zoe, okay? The science fair.
That's my name.
It is your name. That's right. You're in this book. How nice. So how does it end? Oh, I don't know. Okay, just kidding. By the way, I'm Mr. Young. What's your name? Suzette. And you're Zoe. And you are? Ricardo. Nice to meet you. Right on. All right, so Max wants to do an awesome science experiment, okay? And his friend Zoe is trying to help him find one. But he's like, all these are so boring. So I hope he does find one, but we're not going to find out today because we're only going to read chapter 1, okay? And then you guys can finish it later. So before we begin reading, I want you to turn to page 5. I'm going to show you some stuff first, okay? Yes, page 5, which is actually the first page. Yes, page 5. I want you to look at this word right here. Put your finger on that word. Put your finger on that word. Put your finger on that word, okay? I'm going to try to break it down for you. Maybe you know that word.
Study.
Okay, we're not going to waste our time with that. What about the one below it? It starts with an E.
Experiment.
What does that say? Experiments? What does that say? Experiments. All right, so we've got, that's a big word, right? Experiments. Nicely done. Okay, next, I want you to go to page 8. Page 8, I want you to look at the word that begins with a G. This one right here. Okay, yeah, we have a root word. Cover up the ED. Cover up the ED at the end. There you go. What does that say?
Grinder.
Close? Okay.
Grind.
I tell you what. This word says groan. Like
I said
groan. Right? You said that. All right, well, you're smarter than me, and that's cool. Now take off your finger off the ED. Groaned. That's because he groaned. Past tense, right? And like we talked, groaned. All right. Last thing I want to show you, page 9, just next to it. This word right here with a C, curled. Also past tense, curled. Like I curled up. Buddy curled up. When you get to that word, what are you going to read? Curled. Curled. So don't be scared of that word. You're going to read curled. All right, great. So now I want you to go back to the beginning, and you're just going to read silently in your head on your own, okay? If I tap in front of you, I just want to hear you whisper read to me, okay? And then you can go back to reading by yourself. Can you whisper read for me? No, just wherever you were. Keep reading. Pardon me, where are you? Oh, yeah. That word is just like the others. See that root word right there? Grab. And it's past tense, so it's grabbed. Good. cool. All right, guys. So we had Max and Zoe and Max. Still can't. Well, he thinks he might have found one right at the end, huh? You know what I noticed? Let me tell you something that was pretty cool. What Zoe did. Zoe on page 7.
Grabbed?
Ooh, yes, grabbed. We worked on grabbed. Maybe it wasn't page 7. Hold on just a second, guys. Maybe it was after that. Could have been 8, could have been 9. Let me check. What in the world? Where did it go? Maybe I was right. Oh, okay, page 6. See this right here? On page 6. It says, these are all so boring. She quickly fixed this. At first it was, those are all so boring, but then went back and reread and said, oh, these are all so boring. So she fixed it real quick, and that's something that we love to see. So thank you very much, Zoe. We'll all do that in the future. Another thing I want to do. What I noticed, see these quotation marks? That means someone is talking, right? On page 6, see that? That means someone's talking, right? You know that? And when people are talking in a book, we want to read it like they're talking, okay?
Like a different voice.
Yeah, for example, I could read this sentence like this quotation. Our science fair topics are due tomorrow. So
But it's boring if you don't say like.
how should I read it? Well, maybe like
Expression.
this. Yeah, with expression. Our science fair topics are due tomorrow, Zoe said. And then Max responds with, these are all so boring.
Said Max.
Yeah, let's practice that. You're going to be Zoe, okay? So you're going to read out loud with good expression. Remember, it's like, our science fair topics are due tomorrow.
I'll be
All right,
Max.
go. And you can be Max, yes.
Our science fair topics are due tomorrow, Zoe said.
Yeah, see?
Oh, these are all so boring, said Max.
Yeah, these are all so boring, said Max. Did they sound good?
I almost said those.
Right, almost said those. See? Whoops, sorry about that. Didn't mean to confuse you. So when we're reading independently, even when I'm not here, when you're reading a book for fun, when you see these quotations, try to read it like they're talking, okay? All right. It was a pleasure meeting you. You may all go back to class.
Can you do this again?
Maybe, well, you'll have to finish the book. I'll make sure to leave it with your teacher, okay? Great. So that's it. That's it. 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah,
It may have been even less.
about 8.
About 8 minutes. So you can move some groups through your table as long as you don't get sucked into every little goal. You know, I did add that these and those just because I wanted to point out how we self-corrected because both Ricardo and Zoe had trouble with those and these. It didn't interfere with meaning though, so it wasn't that big a deal. I just wanted to be able to notice something that they did well, tell them what they did, like give it a name, you reread and thought about it, and you fixed it quickly. So that way that they're thinking about it. All of them, when I was listening, there was no expression with dialogue. Absolutely none. I would say that this is a perfect instructional level for Ricardo and Zoe, but I think Suzette needs to move up. So we've already changed a group. That's what I love about these dynamic, flexible groups. All right, what else do you want to talk about? What did you notice? What do you have questions about? What could I do better? What did you like?
I mean, it was good. It was good.
Just
Would you always have them just wait, like if there's a?
if they're way ahead, like I noticed they were on page 9 and it ended on page 11. I just have them wait because I think that's a skill that our kids need because they come up to us like, what do I do now? Like, wait 30 seconds. I am not here for your constant entertainment. You know, sit at your desk and wait or organize something. I don't know. Go get a book. But if they're way behind, I'll go through that whole little reteach specifically with that student quietly, and then send them off.
So,
While I value the discussion that everyone brings, I also don't want to keep them forever. But then that's an indication that maybe they're not in the right group.
it, I'm telling you I'm wrong, but it seemed like you listened to Zoe read more.
Mhm.
Was it just because I can't hear her, so was
Right.
it reasoning?
Yeah, because right at the beginning she had started. The first words I heard her say were the mix up those and these, and then maybe 12 words later, want and went. So I'm thinking, okay, simple vowels. She's handling these diagrams, but just the regular, vowels she's struggling with. So when I hear and then grabbed was also trouble for her. So in the small amount of time that I listened to Zoe, there was 3 miscues. They were all visual miscues. So she's relying on her phonics. But the thing is, with the those and these did not interfere with meaning, so I'm not too concerned. But want and went are 2 different things. They look very similar. So with her, I recommend some cross-checking, like stop. When she needs to be metacognitive and monitor her inaccuracies and go, okay, I don't think that was right. Let me reread that and see if it makes sense. Because you also, just because it makes sense, you also want to cross-check it with the phonics. Does this look, is that an E or is that an A? And you can have that a long drawn out process at first, but then develop her ability to do that quickly. Without, when you get to 2nd grade, you want them to self-correct closer to the point of error without having to get to the end of the sentence and noticing that there was something wrong there. You want to really teach them to quickly recognize those so they can move on. And then the grab thing. Now Ricardo only had 1 miscue, and that was those and these, which is why I brought it up. And then Suzette didn't have any. She was just fine. But I noticed the one thing in common was that they lacked expression. And I thought even with that dialogue, post follow-up thing, would touch a little bit on the comprehension anyway. Oh, it's so boring. How's he feeling? Well, he's bored. We didn't have to go over that. I thought they probably had that.
So I guess the difficult part for me is like, would you follow up the next day and have them read something? Do you ever go back and reassess that when you leave them at the end and say, this is how you should be reading when you're reading?
Right. So what I did was, at the end here, I'd circle the F and just put the date. I have no idea, probably March, maybe February. I don't know when it is. I think it's the 17th. So I just put the date there. So when I flip that up next time, every time I plan, I just look, I'm like, okay, what do we do? And I have notes here that say, no expression, no expression, no expression above each one of them. So I might start by asking, hey guys, remember how I told you to read the dialogue with expression in your independent reading? Did you do any of that? Did that happen? Can you give me an example? Oh, that's okay if you didn't do it. You know what? Let's think about it while we're reading this book. It may not be your main objective, but it could be something that they can also be thinking about as they read.
Well, and then if you're only reading,
Yeah,
the one
that's
chapter,
true.
then
Yeah.
the following day.
Yeah.
Right.
Are you gonna
And
use
especially the same book.
plan, or are you going to give a whole new plan?
You know,
for the
no,
second chapter?
I would just use the same plan. You will want to go through though and take a look at the words, the front loading, and just be like, okay, now we're in chapter 3. Are there going to be any like brought, maybe difficult, whispered? Here you have that ED again that we know that was a problem. So you would add those recorded, just to tell them, okay, hey, we're going to read chapter 2, but before we read chapter 2, I want to show you a couple of these words. All right, guys, go ahead and read independently, because they've already got the intro. I gave them every bit of information, which is why I wasn't worried about their comprehension. We've supported that well, because again, this book's too hard for them. Well, maybe not all of them, so we've supported them in a way that they can do it all on their own.